Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show off the new Final Fantasy game, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. It's a game that I really had a lot of interest in playing, and I think it is definitely something to keep your eye on, as a lot of people came into the live stream, were asking a lot of questions, and I'm here to go ahead and answer them, as well as kind of show you guys the game. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. We're going to be doing a side mission, so there won't be any spoilers. Side missions are essentially doing like the main quest line, but you do some of the levels, sometimes backwards or differently, but for the most part, it's basically a repeat of a mission that you've already done. So it's kind of like repetitive content, although sometimes in terms of gear requirement, it kind of recommends you to do some levels over and over again, but you do them backwards, so it's at least a little bit different. But let's go ahead and hop right into some gameplay, and let me show you guys the loot and the gameplay and all of that stuff right now. So right now we're spec'd out for 2 different classes. You could actually hybrid a lot of classes in this game. I just kind of want to start off with the gameplay, but there are so many jobs in this game. This is what made me super interested in picking up this game in the first place. So first off, it is an RPG looter. It's $60 as of right now, and it's 80 gigabytes, at least for the PC version. We are using a controller, but we are on PC. I did play on the PS4 version of the game as well. I really recommend the PS5 or PC version because the graphics on the PS4 version, they're a little bit lacking in the graphic department, as well as frame rates. But how it works is you'll start off with like a basic class. As soon as you have the weapon, you get to play the class, and as you progress, you're going to be able to unlock another node that will unlock a new class. Now, some classes, you're going to have to unlock multiple classes to get the other classes, and it's really, really cool, and I love this system. This is what made me interested in picking up the game in the first place. And obviously, since it is a looter game, there are tons of different things that you can equip on your character. You even have the ability to run multiple pieces of gear that are across different classes, that normally you wouldn't think you would be able to like hybrid out, and it's really cool that the system is set up for customization. But let's go ahead and hop right into some gameplay. So in terms of a caster, we're gonna go and start off the battle, and as I get more progress on my ring here, it's gonna increase the potency of the spell that I cast. And underneath the enemy's health bar, there is like a stagger bar. And once you deplete it, you can finish the enemy instantly, which is really awesome. Oh, a bunch of loot just dropped. So we'll do a side mission over here, and you guys can see the gameplay, and I'll kind of answer the questions that I was getting. So the reason why I was really interested in this game, I'm not a Soulsborne kind of a guy when it comes to games, but this game was just so much fun for me to play. Like, it's very fast-paced, depending on the way that you want to play. Some people play this game super slow, like they take it kind of like a Soulsborne game where they want to dodge everything and block. For me, I'm rushing in as many times as possible, unless I wanted to like level up my mage, then I play a little bit slower, because the mage class, I'm going to actually show off this other ability that I have called Visible. And as you unlock abilities on one class, you don't even have to have that class equipped, and you can still use some of the abilities. It depends on the ability in particular, but this one, you know, my build is really good right now, so it's fast. But I'm going to swap up the gameplay here. Now, to level up the jobs, you have to be at kind of a checkpoint, but right now, this assassin build that I'm playing is very, very powerful, as you guys have seen. But if I want to change classes from assassin, I can go and play another one that I'm leveling up is actually knight. So I'm going to equip this, which is a sword and shield. I definitely want to still keep up this white mage, and I'll show you guys what the class can do a little bit more, maybe once we take some damage. But you can make a build where all you're doing is supporting your 2 teammates. Now, the game does have online play as well. That's one thing that I was really excited about. But I'm going to start off the fight with, actually, we'll use regen over here, so we can regen, and then we can also haste up our teammates.
This'll be a breeze.
And I can swap over to my sword and shield, and you can see we can just knock them down. And our mana is in the bottom left, that's the pink bar. We can also absorb enemy attacks. Let me see if I can show you guys that. So some enemies, when they use abilities, you can actually absorb them, if he does one. You know, maybe we'll find another like ranged enemy, because they'll do it a lot more often. what happens is you can actually hold down circle or B if you're playing Xbox, but for me it's circle. I'm on playing on PC, but I'm using a PlayStation controller. But you can absorb the enemy's attack and throw it back at them, which is really cool. Like, you also have block. I never block though. I really only evade. I think evading is much better. So let's see if this harpy will do something, and I can show you guys the mechanic.
There's one.
Come on.
So it'll be when they're using something in purple. When it's in red, that means you have to dodge it. You see over here that someone's using fire. So he's using fire. And once he throws the fire at us, we can absorb it, and now I can throw fire back at him. And it's really cool, and I love the way that they've set this up. I also like how you can hit stun enemies out of their spells. This shadow guy sometimes can be a bit of a threat, because he can, like, basically go off the map, like, as in he's untargetable. Right now we're stuck
Oh my god, stop,
in
bro,
a
I'm
stun,
stunned.
but the game is really fun. And there's so many combinations that you can mess around with. And that's one reason why I've been super interested in playing this game. Sometimes, like ranged enemies, again, they can be kind of annoying. So what you can do is you just wait for them to do an ability, and then you can absorb it. Or if I want to, I can just play white mage, and if he doesn't hit me, I can target this guy and hit him with a ranged ability. Okay, well, he didn't get hit by it. Go charge it up all the way. Get them down, and you see our jobs are leveling up. And you level up the jobs relatively fast. And now we can use, let's use, oh, there's still one more enemy. Let's kill him first. And as far as difficulty goes in this game, there is an easy difficulty. We're not playing on it, but like, I know a lot of people always wanted Dark Souls to have an easier difficulty. And while I'm not a person that really plays Dark Souls game, I can understand why some people would want it, because you can die in just a few hits. But in this game, I mean, there are bosses that will basically one-shot you, because they'll hit you multiple times, but once you get once, it's over. Let me swap to the white mage, and we are gonna use Kirog, so we can heal everyone. And if we go back to my sword and shield. But I'm gonna mix it up for the gameplay to show you guys a variety of options here, because like I said, this game is so cool to mess around with. And some classes you can play and use multiple different weapons, and I'm gonna go ahead and auto equip. There's a button to optimize your equipment, and you actually gain stuff so fast in this game in terms of like gear that it's actually worth it to just hit optimize, because in the very beginning it's hard to get what's called affinity. And speaking of that, let me go and briefly show you guys the gear. So you can swap classes at any point, but to level them up, you actually have to do it on a like specific checkpoint here. So we have all of our items here. We have like a weapon. I know my face is blocking it, but we have a weapon. We have chest, shoulders, or actually not shoulders. We have armor. Some armor pieces can overlap. Like some of them will also use like your helmet slot, but basically you have a bunch of pieces of gear. It just kind of affects stats. But you also have this where it says 39%. That has job affinity, which is monk. Now, if I actually get monk up to a certain amount of affinity, I get some bonus effects depending on it, which is usually going to affect your stats or your break, which is kind of like a different form of stamina. But you can swap weapons really fast. But if you were thinking that it was like Devil May Cry, it's not quite like that. As in, you won't be able to weapon swap on the fly super fast to the point where you can combo consistently. Some abilities can combo into other things, but for the most part, it's not necessarily like that fast. But I've been just having a blast with this game and just messing around with all the different classes. Oh, we got hit. So once that stamina bar goes down, you'll see that we actually cannot really do anything until it recharges. Got him. That's all of them. And it's actually pretty easy to, once you get white mage up, we don't have enough for that one. Let's just use this for regen. Some of the classes that are ranged, like the regular mage, will let you actually regen mana, but this one doesn't. And I understand why, because white mage would probably be one of the most like, it's still an OP class in my opinion, at least for the start.
Come on.
Probably should use the fists here, because it's like higher leveled and stuff, but I'm just doing it to mix up the gameplay. So we use invisible, and it doesn't actually make you completely invisible, but it does make it so enemies sometimes just won't target you. If the enemy starts blocking, it's because you're doing the same moves over and over. And to support that, they kind of want you to mix it up. And you can unlock more skills. Like you can see, I have like flee over here. This makes us move fast. Okay, he didn't follow through with that stone throw. Otherwise we would be able to absorb it and hit him back. Oh, is he? Oh, he's right here. He's a sneaky guy. Got him. But when you do like break the enemy and you essentially kind of shatter them, that's where it like turns them into kind of like these red crystals. It does do like a bunch of AoE. And you don't have to fight every enemy on screen. You could just kind of go to whatever the objective is. Now over here, you can see that there's a save point. And it does make the other enemies respawn, but now on the job tree I have a bunch of skill points that I can put into. Like I have 7 points for Ronin. I haven't really messed with Ronin, but again, I'm trying to mix it up for the gameplay. You can swap at any point, but if you want to level up the job, like for example, like White Mage right now is one of the things I'm leveling up. It's one of the advanced jobs. So with White Mage, I want to try to get this thing so I can actually unlock Paladin. So I'm going to have to actually put points to path over towards it. I only have 1 more point in here to put, but this requires 2 points, and it's going to increase our damage. And some of the nodes that are like these blue triangles, I believe it's like this one over here, you can actually view the ability, and I love it when games do this, where you can actually see the skill before you like invest into it. I don't know if there is a way to respec in the game, but this is just a system that I really like, so let's go ahead and actually just continue. I'm going to actually swap my job over here from Ronin, and I'm going to go back to the Assassin, because I actually really like this class. This is actually my favorite, but I'm going to equip the Fists, because this class can actually use different weapons. Like, you're not locked to just using daggers. You can use fists, you can use the Lancer. You can use a lot of different things. We might actually show off the Lancer. Let me see if I can find an enemy that I'll swap to the Lancer, because there's a charge attack that can do a decent amount of damage. Sometimes an enemy, you can see the enemies before you even like engage the fight. But oh man, Assassin is just so great. It's definitely my favorite, specifically because of this ability right here. It's called Falcon's Dive. It goes up in the air and it just destroys enemies super fast. Alright, let me show off Lancer real quick. So we'll keep Assassin. I can swap off White Mage just for a second here. So we can just go to Lancer. And I like Lancer for opening up some of the engagements. Okay. And like I said, you can swap in between, but like you can't rotate, like you can't auto once swap like fast enough for it to be like, again, like a Devil May Cry, which I'm hoping for PC eventually they'll release a mod that lets you do that. Now the game is playable online too. I don't think there's PvP, but I'm okay with, because I don't know if this game would be super balanced for PvP, but it'd be cool if they did add it. As far as I'm aware of, it's just PvE. But I'm gonna go ahead and target the enemy over here, and I can use Lance Hurl. And some abilities they can charge up. Lance is actually something that destroys these ranged enemies. Certain enemies can be weak to stuff. It's more so with casting that you can like easily access. But like these bats just get melted by Lance, which is a perfect showcase.
Let's go.
Let's make this entertaining.
But sometimes their health bar will go down just as fast and you can't really like shatter them. We have another enemy. Okay. So now we're gonna go swap back to White Mage just so I can like level it up. Plus it's great for bosses. Just mages in general I think are like the most powerful for this game. Just simply because ranged is a little bit OP. Like if you were hesitant on like difficulty with this game, you could literally sit back and I can order my AI just to attack the whole time, and I could sit back and if I wanted to I could be like, okay guys, let's use haste. Like I can also buff myself up with certain things. Let's go ahead and actually activate flee, and we can move around super fast now. And you can see I'm basically hit stunning to the point where I can just button mash and they will usually die. But I'm so fast now that realistically him hitting us, not happening. But I love the loot in this game. They give you so much loot. Disenchanting and the inventory system management honestly is not the most friendly, but you can just hit auto equip and it equips like the highest level, but it doesn't really affect what's called affinities. Now, oh, this one's locked, so we're gonna have to find a key. But we'll finish up this mission here. All right, can we go through here and get the key? So these side missions are gonna be a lot faster and there's no like cutscenes, but it is still good just to get extra gear. So let's go ahead and get that. And we can actually activate this thing called Lightbringer, which deletes 2 of our MP bars. However, oh, we did dodge one of the guy's abilities, but there's 2 of them. But it's kind of like a devil trigger. can actually pop a heal if I want to as well. I haven't actually really used heal in a while. It's usually because I rely on White Mage just to heal up. But yeah, this is like a Devil Trigger, a Super Saiyan mode, and it's awesome. Alright, so our goal is to defeat a Revenant, which I think he's up there. Oh, and that was actually the end. The side missions end abruptly, like it's just defeat this guy sometimes, and then we'll get a bunch of rewards. So in order to manage our inventory, we actually have this ability on the map. We can hit start and then go to Smithy, and we can disenchant our gear. That's like, you can see how many pieces of gear I have. I have 500 out of 4,500. Like, we have so many pieces of gear. And some of them will do what's called a job affinity. Let me see if I can actually show off this mechanic. So if I go to my equipment over here and I go to the job affinity, you can see like the percentage of it and also an icon. The icon determines like what's the affinity for the character. And if I go to affinity, oops, okay, details, here we go. So if you want to think of it kind of like Diablo 3, because I know a lot of you guys follow me for Diablo 3, you can put your pieces of gear to have affinity to reach certain milestones, and each one of them will correspond with a percentage. You can also get it on your skill tree for the class, but you can see it gives us extra agility, strength. It's almost like a set in Diablo, where if you have everything perfectly matched up, and it's probably realistically not going to happen early on, but enables the use for all weapon types for the knuckles. That would be pretty cool too. So I'm wondering if anything that would require knuckles would mean that you can still use abilities that require knuckles, because that's actually one of my favorites. That's pretty cool. And then this one, it reduces the enemy's max break gauge. That's where you get to like shatter them. The boss fights are pretty awesome in this game. I know in that instance we didn't have one, but those are from the main missions, and I didn't want to have any spoilers. And on top of that, the missions are a lot longer, and there are cooler missions than just like go here, kill stuff. There was a mission where we had to like swap between different like seasons in a level, and depending on the season, the environment would react differently. There was one where we had to move these crystals to shoot lasers. Like, it's got enough depth, because I know a lot of people were asking, hey, is this game worth picking up? For me personally, I'm enjoying it. Again, I'm not a Soulsborne guy. I'm more of a Devil May Cry kind of a guy when it comes to like action-based games. But in terms of it being like a looter game, I like it for the loot, very small like amounts of like modification at the moment. I haven't gotten any legendary items. Those could maybe affect the gameplay a lot more. Like, you know, in Diablo, we have legendaries that make your character like completely different for a certain ability. I don't know that yet. This is kind of my first impressions. In terms of like graphics, we do have some frame drops. Like, I have a 2060 Super in right now. On the PlayStation 4, I was getting a lot of frame drops, but graphic-wise, the game's totally fine for me. It's just like, yeah, frame drops happen. Not too much a fan of that, but in terms of character customization, there is customization on the character in terms of like, you know, how I want the character to look. Like anything that you equip will look exactly like it, which I think is awesome. But I would really like to be able to customize my character. I'm not really too much of a fan of the main character. As of right now, in terms of story, it's a little bit weak. All we know is we need to kill Chaos. Our characters don't really know too much other than they want to kill this thing named Chaos. And that's basically the first like several hours of the game. I know some people like to play Final Fantasy games for the characters, but it's basically, we gotta find Chaos, kill Chaos, and they mention it again and again.
My mission is to kill Chaos. When are we gonna fight Chaos? All I care about is seeing Chaos. Looks like Chaos. We're here to kill Chaos. What about Chaos? Chaos, 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 Chaos.
So in terms of story, it's a little bit weak. For right now, maybe things will make sense later down the line, but graphic-wise and story-wise, a little bit weak. Graphics are okay. Gameplay is really where this game excels. And again, what's so cool is these job trees where you're able to unlock more. Like, to unlock the expert class, which is Assassin, I had to actually unlock Thief and Monk. And to get Thief and Monk, I had to play something called Duelist. I had to level that one all the way up to get Thief. And then once I got Thief, which I don't remember what the little like icon is, then I had to get Thief, and then I could get Assassin. In order to get the previous one for that expert class, it required like another one. To unlock Monk, I had to go to, was it Pugilist? I think it was in the very beginning. And now I'm trying to get the Paladin, which requires me to get Sword Fighter up to get Knight. And then once we get Knight all the way up, we have to get Knight, and right now, like I said before, I was leveling up that White Mage. So in order to level up your class, you can use these things called Anema Shards, or you can just level them up. In fact, I'm going to use these shards right now just to show you the mechanics. So you can get these Anema Shards, and we're going to go ahead and use them. So we can press triangle, and we're going to use, let's see how many job points available. Do we need? Okay, let's do 4 points. So we use this, and then now we'll have a bunch. So we can unlock this, and there we go. And now I will get the Paladin. And now Paladin is now unlocked. So let's go ahead and go to the battle settings and check out the Paladin skill tree, because this is what I really wanted to unlock. And again, this is what makes me super excited with this game, is you have so many skill trees to unlock. So now we have to go to the Knight and make sure I have, okay, so I have White Mage. Okay, so I need to go to White Mage, which is in advanced. Okay. Oh, you know what? We should actually have put the points into this one instead of the other one. Well, we have one more Anema Shard, so we'll just slam it in over here. And then we have, okay, increases the holy damage dealt, which doesn't really help us too much, to be honest, because all I want to do is get this Paladin. And we can still also show off, oh, you know, there's this other thing I want to show off real quick. There's just so much content in this game. So as you start progressing the classes, you'll unlock abilities that you'll like just hit like R1, then you can activate, like I was showing you guys before with like the invisibility, and like the Lightbringer is like automatically attached. You can't actually remove this one, but you can get these abilities from other classes and still equip them, even though you don't have the class like equipped. You can still use some of the skills from some of the other classes, and you can see these ones are some of the ones that I unlocked. And I think that that's really cool. But in addition to that, there are combos on classes where you can swap them in and out. Usually it's like square, square. Well, actually the default is R1, R1, which is like your auto attack. There's not like a medium and a heavy, but there are technically heavies by charging up attacks. Depending on the ability, it might require more strings of combos. Like on the Assassin, Falcon's Dive would be square, 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 R2. And I cannot put it on square, square, R2. But depending on the skill, it can require more strings of combos. When I say combos, but it's just usually just your attack button. But there are other things depending on your class. They may require certain other things to like activate. Like there's a skill where if I crit them, it's going to put like a mark, and then it can consume the mark. There's a lot of depth to this game, and in a short like 20 minute to 25 minute video, it's hard to explain everything in the game, but I wanted to give you guys an introduction and my first impressions on this game. And I think the game is absolutely awesome. I could definitely recommend it if any of you guys really like to tinker with things, because there's just so much things that you can do in terms of like unlocking classes. But if you were looking for like a strictly story-based driven game, I would say, at least right now in my first like several hours, it's a little bit weak on that side of things. If you're looking for like more of a traditional Final Fantasy game, it's different. A lot of people would like to compare this to Nioh or Dark Souls, but I think that it's definitely faster than like a Dark Soul or Soulsborne game series, but it's not as fast as Devil May Cry, but you can almost make it as fast. Once you start like buffing up all of your speed, like if I used Heistaga and then I used, what do they call it, Flea, I'm moving around pretty fast, and it is really fast. But again, if there is some way to swap your classes even faster, and I wish they just had like 4 classes. If you could swap between 4 classes and rotate your weapons, this game would be like S tier godly. A lot of you guys may want like a numerical value, like what would I give this game out of 10? It's early on, but for my first impressions, the lowest I think I could give this game is a 6, but the highest that I could give it as of right now, probably an 8. So a 7 to me is a pretty solid number. Again, I don't think that they were going for a super fast-paced game. I'm going to play it like that, and you can definitely do it like that. They were going definitely for some inspiration via like Soulsborne, and I get that because that's like a popular thing. Elden Ring just came out, but I think it's pretty cool, and it's different enough to have its own niche. But in terms of like, again, story, I would say hold out on it, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with the story. But in terms of the campaign, I don't know how long it is. People were saying anywhere from 20 to 30 hours, but you can play multiplayer, which is actually another feature. You can create a room, or you can search for a room, and that's the thing I'll want to mess around with once I complete the campaign. Now, in terms of the mission level, like you'll see it says mission level 40, our average equipment is level 34. It doesn't matter. We do it anyways. It's really not that big of a deal. With the enemies, if they do hit you, it will hurt a little bit more, but just don't get hit and you'll be fine. But anyways, that's gonna be it for my like a little introduction to the game. But the sound is awesome too. Wish there was more in the BGM department, but maybe you can unlock more sounds. Sometimes games do have that. We're playing on the action difficulty. There is easier difficulties that you can play on if you want to, but I think action is pretty good. In the very beginning of the game, I did feel like it was kind of hard, but once you learn the mechanics of this game and find the weapon, specifically I like the fists, the game gets a lot better. But anyways, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for my first impressions. But overall, I would say very positive for B, especially because again, I don't play Soulsborne games, so it was kind of a nice surprise because I did try out the demo. By the way, if you want to try it on PlayStation, because if you're wondering like, should you buy this game, try out the demo for PlayStation. I don't think that there is a PC demo, but I played the PS4 demo and I thought it was fun enough for me to go ahead and pick it up. Plus, we have a couple more days until the new Fortnite season comes out, so I'll be grinding this game for the next couple days, and I'll let you guys know maybe in a few days a more like final review of the game after we complete the campaign. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the gameplay and video, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell if you'd like to see more, and I'll show you guys maybe what legendary gear does in terms of like the looter aspect of the game. I think right now it's a little bit weak, but later down the line, obviously I don't expect to get legendaries early on, you know, in any action RPG. But once we get them, if it changes up the build, I could say that this game would be cool for a looter experience because there's so many things to mess around with again on the skill tree. But take care. I'll see you in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.